Welcome to a world of thrills, a world of drama, of capes and tights, a world where death is a revolving door. Welcome to the Geek Matrix.
That is us. We are the Geek Matrix. Thank you for joining us for episode 290, covering DC's releases for the week of April 15th, 2026, just in case you were wondering. And with me today, am I pointing the right way? I am, is
Yes,
Brandon.
Hello.
And I am Josh. And this week we're going to be talking about Absolute Batman number 19, Nightwing number 137, Deathstroke the Terminator number 2, and New Titans number 34. I've had a crazy ass week. Brandon is up to his gills in work. It's WrestleMania weekend. I had a water heater and an air conditioner die on me, and I'm neck deep in writing. So we're going a little late this week. Our honorable mentions include, they came out this week as well. Wonder Woman number 32, Superman Unlimited number 12, which I understand is quite the read, but I haven't gotten to it yet. Catwoman number 86, which I also understand is getting pretty good. Vertigo's End of Life number 3. Can't wait to read that one. Batwoman number 2. I did read that. This is a hell of a story. Greg Rucka should have a permanent title at DC all the time. And Lobo number 2. This is fucking bonkers. And that's it is definitely not what I expected. The throwdown between him and Emperor Aquaman was a little unexpected. But altogether, it's a pretty fun book. I suggest people check it out.
That's good to hear. I'm definitely very excited to check out the second issue of Batwoman.
Absolutely. And the ongoing rivalry between Lobo and what is it? Murder Mouth and Fisty Claws?
Oh yeah, the Wolverine knockoff.
Absolutely. All right. Now, Brandon and I, we talked about it before the show started. There's not been a lot of news that has came out. I believe you mentioned there's a solicitation for the Clayface series that's coming out.
Yeah, that's really the only new book that I've seen kind of come in the pipeline or down the pipeline. And I just had it pulled up, a Clayface miniseries, I imagine, just to kind of coincide with the release of the movie. I don't even know when that's coming out.
I'm not sure
some point.
either.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems kind of early in the way of doing that, or maybe someone just had a Clayface story they wanted to tell. Either way, this is going to be a horror noir written by Jude Ellison S. Doyle, who I really only know from the book The Neighbors at Boom, and I think they're like a novel writer or something. With art by Fran Galen, who's super solid. Colors by Patricio De Pellicci. And the premise is basically Carlo trying to get back into the game of acting, but is unfortunately haunted by his Clayface past and abilities, and really leaning into the body horror that comes with that. So hopefully it'll be an interesting, if frightening read. Definitely worth checking out. I'm sure we'll give it a review when it comes out in. Let me take a look at the release date here. July 8th.
Oh, that's not bad.
Yep. So not too far from now.
That's not too long of a wait, but I would say that this, the way you described it, body horror noir, that's what the movie is supposed to be like too. So I'm going to assume it's definitely pairing up there. But yeah, that's all for the news. I am looking forward to a Clayface book. Proper Clayface written well is a hell of a character, so I am down for that.
Yeah, and not so much in the world of news, but for anyone who's unaware, April 18th is recognized to
Oh,
be Superman Day. So obviously had to rock the faded Superman shirt I've had since I was like 13.
I don't have any Superman
And
shirts anymore. I haven't had
yeah,
a Superman shirt in a long time.
you got to get one, man. But yeah, no, I mean, not much else beyond that. I think certain comic stores are going to be, doing some Superman themed celebration stuff.
So get up.
There's actually a town
Yep.
about 3 hours away from me in Illinois called Metropolis.
Yes,
I'd
sir.
never heard of it before,
No,
but
I've been to Metropolis
it
several
is
times.
yeah. I mean, I'm not from the Midwest, so I wouldn't know. But yeah, they're doing a bunch of Superman themed celebrations. I can't make it out there because it's quite a hike, and I've got other plans for the day. But rest assured, I'll definitely be reading some Superman. Might even rewatch the '78 movie and maybe even the 2025 movie if I have time.
Right on, right on. Man, I am definitely gonna have you come down and visit. Let's set that up for next year on
Sure.
Superman Day. We'll go to Metropolis.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of a drive for me, but not too long. And
I guess we could meet there too,
for sure,
as opposed to driving to your place and then driving
there's a Superman Circle there. There's the Superman Museum. And like the whole town has pretty much just gotten in on it. You can go stick your head behind cutouts at gas stations in Metropolis.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah. It's Superman everywhere there. I got some kids. I got some photos of my kids as New 52, Superman, and Wonder Woman.
Nice.
Well,
but yeah, no, get out there and celebrate some Superman if you do celebrate. And enjoy the festivities if there's anything nearby you. There's supposed to be a costume contest. I don't know if it's I'm sure they're doing it in Metropolis too, but I saw Midtown back when I was living in New York. They usually do like a Superman or Supergirl costume contest, and that seems like it'd be a blast to do. So
it'd be fun to make a Superman costume. And then it'd be fun to go and see all the people who did a way better job than me.
Well,
you know what I mean?
You put your heart into it, so that's really all that matters.
Oh yeah, be a good time though, for sure.
Definitely.
All right. Should we get into the books?
Let's do it.
Let's do it indeed. Well, that wasn't what I wanted to do. I've got to share the screen. Now I've got it. All right. Okay, and we're good. Finally. All right. Nice. I am here for Absolute Batman number 19. Right after I turn my phone down, I'm all kinds of behind the game today. All right. Absolute Batman number 19 was written by Scott Snyder, with our Inside and Out drawn by Nick Dragotta and colored by Frank Martin, with letters from Tom Napolitano. This is a big, big issue. Title's The Straw Man, and the cold opens 1,500 miles from Gotham with a guy that looks like a scarecrow, stitches for a mouth, buttons for eyes, strolling through a cornfield and psychologically breaking down two farmer buddies until one of them feeds the other through a harvester. Scarecrow leaves, and then we jump to Gotham. Bruce has gone full lone wolf. No no-name bat car that the crew's calling the Bat Nasty. He's not a fan. Alfred's back from MI6 and hates all of it. No friends, no distractions from Bruce. Bruce meets Waylon in an alley. Waylon's back from wherever he was, green-skinned and yellow-eyed. But more human, far more human than the last time that we saw him, and he's begging to stay in the fight. Bruce cuts him loose. There is no we. The flashback fills in the story. Bruce lockup, bailed out by Falcone, who warns him the debt's on him and Selina. Jim Gordon shows up at that flashback too, tells young Bruce, I'm here for you, son. Present day, former Mayor Gordon calls Batman on the phone, scaring Harley half to death because she's back in the cave prototyping the bat signal cowl for this exact reason. So it's not a spotlight in the sky. It's a red phone in the ear. Gordon meets Batman on a rooftop with files labeled with some files, and he is terrified of what's found in them. Ravens start swarming. Something flammable gets lit on Gordon. I'm not sure why his arm was able to light up so easily, and he pleads with Bruce to burn the files. Then he goes right off the roof. Batman reaches out, grabs him with his prehensile cape. I have you, Mr. Gordon. Grabs his coat, though, and Jim falls to his death. The whole city watches live, and it looks like Batman killed James Gordon. Mayor Hill, the new one, jumps on TV, lies about Gordon's dying words, and unveils his answer to the Batman problem. None other than General Slade Wilson, who introduces the Robin program, a squad of orphans raised by Jack Grimm, now trained and suited up. Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, Stephanie Brown, and Duke Thomas. Slade says it's going to be the biggest fight in the history of the city, and it starts right now. And that's the book. This Scarecrow is definitely not your ordinary Scarecrow. Seems like he can make stuff happen, not just scare you with gas. This is a trip. And the Robin program, all the Robins being raised and used by Jack Grimm, notably, except for Damien.
Yeah, that might be a little more complicated, obviously, with Talia's whole history and absolute Superman, so can't really engineer something like that. But yeah, it's interesting how they've set up this whole Robin dynamic. And I kind of got spoiled a little bit. I thought, well, I shouldn't reveal too much, but we got to look at some of the covers for the next issue of Absolute Batman, and they're kind of all showcasing the different Robins in this iteration, and each one kind of has their own suit. And I initially thought it was just going to be all the Robins working together in one giant suit, which sounded very Power Rangers to me. But yeah, no, I mean it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. I dig it. I wish I liked the way the book looks. I just don't. I know you're a huge Nick Dragotta fan, but the story was definitely up there for me this time. I'm curious where this is going to go. Absolute Batman's kind of been all over the place for me. I hope this goes someplace better than like what Bane did, where Batman was fused with all those enhancements that just kind of never showed up again. But in any case, this is interesting enough. It's fucked up as it is, as fucked up as it sounds, it's a hell of a good time. I gave it a 7 out of 10.
Yeah, no, this gets an 8.25 out of 10 for me. The Absolute Batman continues to be super solid, and I love the concept of the it's like a subversion on Bruce Wayne, where as opposed to Bruce taking in the orphans and looking after them and giving them, discipline and roles and all this stuff, it's this version of the Joker, Jack Grimm, taking in all these orphans and turning them into child soldiers. So it's similar but different. It's almost like a very interesting subversion of it. So I think it's pretty cool, and I'm interested to see what the Robin's dynamic will be like, how they work as a team, and how they'll first interact with Batman in the next issue. But other than that, I feel like this is a very solid start to the next arc, introducing a newer version of our Batman villain, with the, like you mentioned, the Scarecrow is more focused on psychological warfare as opposed to just showing you, fearsome images or making you atmosphere, something that you're seeing. So I think there's a lot that you can do with that, a lot that's interesting, and hopefully Snyder will be able to lean into that. So
Did
yeah,
you
8.25 out of 10.
did you pick it up that like he can? I was almost getting, not quite, but almost like a Final Destination vibe. Like it felt like Scarecrow made that plane fall out of the sky.
I think that was definitely orchestrated. I think that was kind of the idea, and maybe has some way to kind of manipulate those crows to sort of, because it didn't look like he moved the plane. It looked like the plane got ambushed by crows and basically crashed. So I do think there maybe is something a little supernatural with the Scarecrow's connection to the crows, because we saw that as well with Jim Gordon, and how the crows just kind of popped up out of nowhere and were, sort of hassling him. So some kind of connection there, I'm sure.
Yeah, he was like, they're trying to stop me.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep. So, you know what? I'm bumping it up. I'm giving Absolute Batman number 19 7.25. This was pretty good.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's like I said, another exciting start. Hopefully it lands the plane. Maybe not the best best phrase there.
Hopefully not into some farmers, huh?
Yeah. Hopefully not killing people.
All right. Well, I say we take it from one form of fucked up supernatural to another.
Yeah, continuing with a Robin at least, but obviously a very different version. Nightwing number, I should have checked the cover, 137, written by Dan Waters with art by Dennis Cowan, inks by Norm Ratmond. And who did the colors on this? Was it Francesco Segala? Yes, it was.
Yep.
With letters by Wes Abbott and a very interesting cover by Jorge Fornes. Dick is still tormented with nightmares of the bridge incident, constantly seeing the last moments where the witch crashed his car and caused the pile up. And so naturally he turns his attention back to work. A very healthy way of coping with things. Things, however, are still continuing as normal in Bloodhaven. Construction is as rampant as ever. But unfortunately, there is a sniper on the loose, as one of them claims the lives of an innocent victim and is now trapping everyone on that bridge, at least for the foreseeable future. Desperate to get this resolved, Maggie Sawyer calls Nightwing, who shows up. But guess who also shows up? The Batman. And Dick naturally is like, "The fuck are you doing here? This is my city." Bruce, of course, sidesteps the question and goes straight to work. So knowing that they're probably not going to have some kind of heart-to-heart, at least not right now, the two of them get to work, with Nightwing in particular being able to track the shooter by putting himself in the line of fire and basically seeing how the shooter tries to fire, and then ultimately following that line of sight to where the shooter is likely to be. From that, he's able to, at least briefly, catch a glimpse of the shooter on the roof before they flee, getting a quick sight of the sniper rifle and noticing that it is of a Romanian make. So naturally, he deduces that the sniper is Romanian, which feels like a bit of a leap, but I guess for his own deduction purposes, he's assuming that only Romania would be using a rifle like that. I don't know. They don't really get into that, but that I noticed, I was like, that feels like a little bit of a reach. Like anyone could get that rifle. Anyway, tangent aside, Nightwing then kind of tries to get the truth out of the sniper at least a little bit by briefly talking about the history of Bloodhaven Bridge, particularly the architect of Bloodhaven Bridge, a man by the name of Raul Ruskova, who I guess ultimately, I don't know, I think they said that he was the one who basically died while making the bridge. And so naturally, the shooter feels that there's some kind of obligation to uphold that sacrifice, now that the remains have been retrieved from the building, which I don't think I mentioned earlier, but they found the remains of a skeleton in the building, and as we'll soon reveal, it's kind of what spurred this whole thing into action. So Nightwing then pursues the sniper, and gets a momentary reveal, but also quickly discovers that it is not just one sniper, but two. and that they are brother and sister collaborating to basically keep their grandfather's sacrifice in play and make sure that there's at least one person who has been killed on the bridge to, I guess, permit the safe passage of all of Bloodhaven's travelers. But as we quickly reveal, after Batman manages to capture her brother, the sniper's brother, their main mission was, or at least her mission, was to kill someone that was very important to her, her fiance, who was on the bridge. But because she couldn't do it, they had to keep everyone else hostage until she finally got the courage to pull the trigger. And so ultimately decided to fire all these shots and ultimately kill one bystander, basically to get herself caught because she was put in such an unfortunate position. As Nightwing is breaking this all down to Batman, also revealing that one of the shots revealed a fissure line that potentially could have destroyed the entire bridge. Bruce reveals the real reason he's here, and that's that he wanted to check up on him, especially after all the news about the car crash. Dick deflects in the moment, saying that despite everything in their years-long relationship, he doesn't know how Dick feels in this moment. And Bruce kind of goes, well, maybe I don't, but I know that you feel, and that, it's something that you're kind of cursed with. Before they can delve into that further, because that feels like a much longer conversation, Bruce is called back to Gotham, and Dick turns his attention back towards the horrible visions and dreams he's been having of the car crash and the nightmarish vision of the witch. And even though he promises Bruce that he's going to get some sleep, he's not going to, at least not until the accusatory gazes of the dead have been resolved and the mystery of the witch has been addressed. So that's Nightwing 137, kind of a pivot from the last issue, sort of a follow-up, but not really a follow-up, almost like we're taking a break from the mystery that was set up with the witch and focusing on, I guess, just some of the ramifications of Bloodhaven doing all this construction, which I think is fascinating. And I wonder how the structure of this arc is going to play out. Like, are we just going to have a series of one and done kind of stories focusing on the bridge, and then it's building up towards the mystery of the witch as Nightwing is going through all this trauma? Or are we just going to get back to the main story in the next issue? I don't know. But I kind of wasn't expecting this. Like it felt, it felt like very much we're kind of sidestepping what we set up in 136 and delving into this kind of one and done story. But it was done so well and so effectively that I can't really complain. So Nightwing continues to fire on all cylinders, a book that really has found its footing in the best way. And the artwork beautifully complements the tone of this story. So I love it, man. I give it an 8.75 out of 10.
Yeah, I'm just about there with you. I think it's an interesting short story. It was it definitely opened Bloodhaven up to all kinds of things that are supernatural. This whole event with the Zani, breaking Bloodhaven down to its bones, and quite literally in this issue, it opens up a lot of stuff, at least potentially. I mean, I liked this, even if it was on like right after a setup issue, because I guess it's because I feel like Dick is the focus of this entire arc anyway, and less so the witch. It's gonna be maybe not even quite Dick, but Bloodhaven in general. This is, how do I put this? Okay, so like it feels like for the last few years we've been watching Nightwing go through all the shit that we've seen Batman go through and just do it better. And this almost feels like Nightwing's version of No Man's Land.
Yeah, or a mix of No Man's Land and maybe a little bit of Born Again, seeing how he'll sink into into his own trauma. Which if we know anything about Nightwing, he's been in some unfortunate situations before, but he always rises out of it. So it'll be interesting to see how deep he kind of suffers with it and when his eventual ascent will come.
Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, it's like reading one of those books where you're like, okay, I'm going to read 2 more pages and then that's it. You read those 2 pages and you're like, well, I'm going to read to the end of the chapter and then that's it. And then next thing you know, it's 3:00 in the fucking morning. That's the kind of stuff that we're reading here. And it gets a well-deserved 8.5 out of 10 from me.
It's very good. It's very good.
Very good. Never thought I would say, you know what I want Nightwing to do? A shit ton of issues that are all supernatural.
Yeah,
Damn,
yeah.
Waters
Well, I mean,
made
I
it
would say
work.
this wasn't really a supernatural issue. I mean, the previous arc with the Zani definitely, but it's almost more like yeah, like I said, like short stories focusing on Bloodhaven and sort of how everything with this sort of construction that they're doing has affected the city and how it's kind of dredging up all these nightmares that they're mentioning. So yeah, and I mean, I don't know. There's definitely a supernatural element. Don't get me wrong, but it feels maybe a little bit more grounded. Like we're not dealing with fifth dimensional nightmarish
Oh
creatures.
yeah, no,
kind of thing,
definitely
so.
not. This is either a ghost of some sort or it's a psychological thing that Nightwing is going through. And either way, I trust Waters to deliver. I hope I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
Someone who hasn't really delivered much with Nightwing, Deathstroke the Terminator. Boy, does he try, though. Written by Tony Fleeks it is Fleeks, isn't it?
I believe so. That's
Okay.
at least how I pronounced it.
All right. Written by Tony Fleeks with art inside and out by Carmine Di Giandomenico and colors from Ivan Placencia, letters by Wes Abbott. So Slade is on the run and the whole world's coming for him, basically. Attack team thinks they took him out with C4, but they didn't. He stands up with half his face burned off, kind of, and they start shooting over the fight we flashback years ago to Slade in a hospital bed after Adeline shot his eye out over Grant's death, telling Wintergreen it doesn't hurt, it's just empty. He says he's not going to retaliate, but he walks Wintergreen through exactly how he would if he were, and closes it with positions were reversed. He wouldn't have stopped at an eye. There wouldn't have been any survivors. Back to present, Slade surrounded, told to drop the gun peacefully. He says, yeah, I disagree, and butchers them. Interrogating survivors, he learns that he hired them. He kills them all anyway for killing Wintergreen and escapes, shot, stabbed, and bleeding all to hell. He calls his info broker to trace the blind contract. Target was a whistleblower on Kale Industries, but when Slade got there, the target was gone. Just Wintergreen with his throat cut and note the red, I'm taking everything. His bank is drained. His backup cash drawer gone too. Safe is cleaned out. So he posts as a cleaner for hire to scrape money for the info fee with a quick aside to Rose in his kitchen telling him he could be more than a killer for hire. A cleaning job pings. It's a trap. Slade kabooms them. But the noise brings tanks. Slade takes on one of his own with a minigun, lands, goes sword mode on another squad. He gets one by the collar. The guy starts to give up the client, and then someone off panel pops him first to keep him quiet. Last page black. Slade down, mask crack, sword in the rocks. Of all people, Deathblow and Deadshot stand over him. Deathstroke, Deathblow, and Deadshot.
That is certainly an interesting one.
So unexpected, but I am definitely with this one. This issue, I'm not in it, but I'm definitely with it. I feel like there's too much unknown to what's going on for me to get pulled in. It's a lot of mystery, but it doesn't quite feel like mystery. It just feels like unknown stuff at this time. That said, Deathstroke has had everything taken from him. Everyone's trying to kill him, and I'm pretty sure it's Grant, but maybe not. It's a fun read, but I wish things were a little clearer. The art is good, a little chaotic, but it matches the scenes in the book very well. 8.25 out of 10.
Yeah, no, an 8 out of 10 for me. It's a solid story so far, and it does have an interesting mystery. Who's gunning for Slade? But I don't know. I don't have too much to say about it. Like it's kind of a solid mid-tier read. Definitely want to see how the mystery continues to unfold, and I like some of the cameos that they're bringing in. The Deadshot Deathblow team up seems very unexpected and also kind of strange. I can't imagine what the two would have in common aside from being mercenaries. I don't even know if Deathblow is a mercenary. I mean, like, maybe he's now. I don't know. I figured he's still working with the Wildcats, but yeah, no, I mean, still a solid read. Don't get me wrong. Just kind of waiting to see how this mystery plays out, but really not too much else to say about it, other than just it's got some good action, some good moments, but just kind of middle of the road, solid book. So 8 out of 10 for me.
Not too bad, not too good. That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is the book, and this is why I scheduled this book to be the last book that we talked about, is because I can't wait to hear what the world's biggest Titans fan has to say
Yes, sir.
about what's going on in the world of Titans today.
Well, I appreciate you saying that. There's a lot of merit to that. And if you looked at my CLZ account, I have now pretty much pasted in all the Titans comics that I own, and not to brag, but it's pretty comprehensive. I would like to see who can hold a candle to me at this point.
He's like, it's Wolfman, and that's it.
Actually, no. I'm now. So the original series, the one from 1966, also counting when they relaunched the book in 1978, has a total of 53 issues. I'm now at 50 of 53.
No shit.
Yeah, and then I have the entirety of the original 40 issue New Teen Titans, and then all of Tales of the Teen Titans leading up to the relaunch in 84. I think I'm missing 2 issues from the 84 relaunch, and then I have pretty much all of New Titans, which is essentially issue 50 of the relaunch New Teen Titans, all the way up to 100. And then I gotta be honest, I can't really read anything after 100. The book becomes like borderline unreadable at that point. But even in my completionist ways, that's harder to justify. Maybe I will do it at some point. The Arsenal-led Titans is sporadically interesting, but it's just so damn boring. And then I don't really have a ton of the Dan Jurgens Teen Titans stuff. That I would really only be getting out of a completionist sense of duty. But yeah, needless to say, my
so you only have like a handful of issues that you're missing from the early stuff.
Pretty much, yeah.
I need a list.
I can show you right now, actually. I mean, I know them. It's issue 3, 18, and 19, but
for Titans,
for the original Teen Titans, not the
63,
1966,
66.
Yeah.
It's what issues is it? 3 what?
Number 3, which is not that hard to find. I just kind of want to find it in person. 18 and 19. Everything else I have.
And then for the next run,
and then
which is 70.
No, so okay, hang on. I perhaps didn't explain super well. Just want to send you these screenshots.
That's all right. You can. I want a list. You hooked me up with so many.
Well, I don't want you to.
I want to see what you got.
But
never know what happens, right?
Yeah, well, some of them, it's not like they're, well, it depends. The New Teen Titans stuff, like, that's not like wicked expensive. It's just some issues are not always there. Those ones I'm sure I'll find in the next. And I also kind of want to get them at the right price. Like, if I can get it for, if someone's selling it for $5 and I can get it for $250, I'm gonna go for $250, even if it takes a little longer. I'm that cheap. So. So that's sometimes why it takes a little bit longer. But yeah, for the new so for the original New Teen Titans, like the 1980 series, the iconic one that everyone knows, I have all 40 issues before it relaunches as Tales of the Teen Titans. So that's done. So I'm good there. When the New Teen Titans relaunches in 1984, that goes for 49 issues. And of those 49 issues, I think I have 47. Let me check. Or I'm sorry, 45. So yeah, I'm missing 3, 4, 29, and 40 of those 49 issues of the New Teen Titans Volume 2. So just
we
about
we need to round you up, my guy.
But yeah, those ones are like I said, it's about getting the right price, you know. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Shit, I can actually now we're just wasting time. You'll permit me to pull out the stack. Really stretching out this runtime, but
I mean that is A-okay.
It's a shorter week, and you know, for anyone who's watching there who questions the veracity of my claims as to whether or not I own these real issues,
on a comic book holiday, you gotta get into it, right?
Yep. Look at that. This is a pre series feature of Teen Titans. This is from fucking Showcase.
Damn.
This is the second appearance of okay. This is where things get technical. It is what people would consider the third appearance of the Teen Titans, the second appearance by name. The first appearance is in like Showcase 56 or 53 or something. That one I don't have, but this would be the second time they appear in name. But people will call it the third because their first appearance in Brave and the Bold, which most people associate as being the first appearance of the Teen Titans, they're not called that by name. It's just Robin, Aqualad, and Kid Flash. But yeah, no, I mean, you got number 1, OG copy, 1966. Damn. I'm not going to go through all of these, but obviously number 2, number 4, which actually got somewhat recently. Speedy joins the Titans, except not really. He just shows up in the issue. Right. And then number 5, number 6, like you get the idea. So yeah, and this, I mean, literally goes on and on and on until issue 53. So
yeah,
they're all in here. And then, well, okay, now this is pretty cool. This is where I really get to brag. So you thought having a showcase appearance of Titans was cool. No, I'll show you something cool. Bam. DC Comics presents number 26. Which I think I already told you guys the story. Some guy, he had to not have known, put it in a dollar bin, and I bought it, and I almost.
Oh, that's right.
So that was crazy.
That's right.
And then, of course,
I forgot about that.
One of my all-time favorites. I've read this issue so many times. I've had this since I was 17, I think. New Teen Titans number 1. It's the only one in here with like the really special slab, and that's just because it's very precious to me. And then, well, okay, actually, I guess this one is a little bit cooler, but first appearance of Deathstroke, number 2. So there you go.
Oh yes, dude.
So this whole box is, well, okay, it goes up to 40, or I'm sorry, wait, yeah, it goes up to 40, which is obviously this issue, and then that's when it titles and becomes Tales of the Teen Titans with issue 41. And then that leads directly into the Judas contract. I do get to brag a little bit more because obviously first appearance of Nightwing. Oh man, that's another one that's very precious to me. I remember I was in not a bidding war, but like this is the most diligent I've been about something possibly in my life. But there was a week, I remember this vividly, like sophomore or junior year of high school, where I was like checking eBay every hour for at least a week, trying to make sure that I had that bid on lock. So as soon as it came through the pipeline, like there was no way that I was going to lose this thing because I was just like, it's now or never. And if I don't get this issue at this price, I probably never will. So yeah, this whole box basically goes all the way to issue 50, which I kind of consider to be like the end of that initial phase of the new Teen Titans. The Tales of the Teen Titans kind of keeps going until the relaunch, but for me, like issue 50, the wedding of Donna Troy, feels like such a decisive end and really puts a capstone on a lot of character arcs. And it just feels like if that were the place to relaunch the book, that's when I would have done it, but that's not what they did. So yeah. Oh, this one is actually, it's not a special issue, but it's special to me. I've had this one for years, and because it still has the sleeve of the place I bought it from, Dr. Comics and Mr. James, shout out Oakland. I think I got this when I was like 10 or something, and I've held on to it for years, and it's in terrible condition, but I love it, and I will never, ever sell it. It means the world to me. This one's kind of cool. It's first appearance of Donna Troy's new costume. Also, trying to see if there's anything else in here. Oh, this one I just love, just because it's such a great looking cover. They had this whole arc in the original Teen Titans where they let this like peace activist die, and they were so ashamed of it. They stripped away their costumes, and they got a sponsorship from this guy called Mr. Jupiter, who basically was going to take them under his wing and kind of, show them the proper way, not proper way, but give them guidance, since they felt like they needed it at that point. Oh man,
I actually remember that.
This one I love too.
I consider that an iconic Titans cover.
Yeah, a lot of these are done by Nick Cardy, who is incredibly underrated in my opinion. Like he did the covers of so many DC books in the 70s and did a lot of the interiors for the Teen Titans stuff. So it's like you get beautiful covers like this, or it's just phenomenal work. So yeah, that is everything. And then like I said, the book relaunches in 78 with issue 44, which I have here. Honestly, not as good. That relaunch I kind of only bought out of necessity. Like I've read it, and they tried to expand the team, I think, just to get people's interests. So they bring in a lot more characters, but the magic isn't quite as good as the Bob Haney, Nick Cardy stuff. So anyway, if you wanted concrete evidence, proof, video evidence that I love the Teen Titans more than I love some people in like that I know in my life, there it is. And speaking of the Titans, New Titans, number 34. I can go straight into it unless you had something else. You're on mute.
Damn it. You haven't heard me. I think that's it, but I'm definitely keeping those screenshots you sent me. I mean, you never know. Someday.
Hey, like I said, don't break the bank.
One of the days, someday I might actually play the Powerball and win.
Hey, I hope you do, man. I'll definitely be hitting you up for cash.
I could end up with being able to buy you Titans number 3.
Well, if you hit the Powerball and you become a mega millionaire, I only have one request. And honestly, it's not even for those missing Titans issues, because I know I can find them. I would humbly request for, and I want to make sure I get the name right, the issue of Brave and the Bold where Aqualad, Speedy, and I think it's issue 57. Or no, not 57. What is it? Is it 56?
You just I could have swore you just said it. Oh no, I didn't write it down.
Wait, no. Is it? What is it called? I really should know.
So you would want Brave and the Bold over the showcase issue?
Oh yeah. Well, that's the first one, right? That's that's the one that started it all. The first team up of sidekicks in DC history, kind of. So yeah, if you win the Mega Millionaire, I have one humble request, and it's for Brave and the Bold's 53.
All right, you got it.
I came very close. They had one for, I think it was like might have been 150 or 100, and I really was like, shit, man, I might have to, I have to break the bank on this one, go broke for a little bit, but I couldn't. It was too hard to justify. So maybe one of these days.
One of these days. You want to know something silly about Josh?
What's up?
Everybody's got those if I ever won the lotto stories, right? Like if I ever won the lotto, I'd buy this, right? The one thing that I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt is if I ever got fucking Powerball money in my kitchen, there would be a pantry, full ass pantry that is dedicated just to macaroni and cheese.
I believe that. I believe that.
All across the world, all the different varieties, they would be in that closet.
I'm sure.
100%. That's the only. I don't want a lot. Like even if I was a billionaire, like I'd have a nice house. I'd have all the latest tech.
Yeah,
that I can guarantee you. I'd have shit tons of comics and action figures, but I wouldn't do a whole lot. But that closet full of macaroni and cheese, that would be my stupid billionaire purchase.
Hey man, sure. if that's the thing you want the most, I say go for it. If you had that millionaire money,
Oh yeah, man.
Oh man, I don't even. There are so many
varieties of macaroni and cheese across the world.
Well, that's the thing. Like for the Teen Titans, that's like the one I want the most. It used to be Teen Titans #2, and then thankfully I was able to make that happen. But yeah, for Teen Titans, it would be Brave and the Bold 50.
You've got Teen Titans 1, yes?
Yeah, both of them actually.
Yeah.
Or I guess all 3. Yeah, the one from 66, the one from 80, and the one from 84.
Wasn't there a Titans in 77?
I mean, again, the relaunch was of the book that got canceled, but they didn't go back to #1. It was issue 44. Right. So the book gets canceled in 1973 or 1972 with issue 43, and then they bring it back a few years later in 1978 with issue 44, only to get canceled 10 issues later because it was kind of ass. But I mean, hey, sometimes these things work in threes, so all right, the first series went for a little while, but then that kind of petered out. The second one was even shorter, but the third one was the most successful of all time. So, sometimes that's the way it works.
That's what they said. Third tries a charm, right?
If I could have any issue, though, like just any comic, regardless of price, regardless of rarity or scarcity, I mean, it's easy to say something like AF-15 or Superman #1 or Action Comics #1, but honestly I'd probably get Showcase #4, like just to hold that in my hands. I love Flash so much. Maybe not my favorite character, but definitely top 5. And like Showcase is such an important part of history. It is the starting point, at least for me and for many other comic historians, of the Silver Age, and to actually have that in my hand would be like
100%.
I don't even know. So
no, that's one of those ones. Like you get comics graded, you get them pressed, you put in fiberglass, whatever.
Yeah,
that shit I would put. That's one of them. There's probably maybe a fucking dozen, just a little bit under, but they would be pressed in fucking glass and mounted on my wall.
Yeah, that one I would probably do a bit more of a professional job. Well, I say that, but I'm going to be honest. If a copy of Showcase #4 fell into my lap right now, I probably would not be able to resist pulling that shit out of the sleeve immediately, like just to be able to hold it in my hands. So I can't.
I don't know, man.
It's very difficult.
I'd open it up and sniff, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's very difficult for me to just put it in a glass tomb forever. So if I were to do that, I'd probably get like 2 copies, one that I can put on my wall, and then one that I can have, to read around and whatever. A lot of the stuff I have on my wall now, like those are redundancies. Those are issues that I have in one form or another. So at this point, they're literally just for decoration.
Right.
Pretty cool.
Mine aren't. I just got the wicked cool ones that you've gotten me.
Yeah.
You can't see it, but Witches is right here next to me.
Nice.
It's propped up, being held up by my giant Batman.
Now I have this one's mounted on my wall, but one that I guess is kind of special to me. It's Batman number 10? I think number 10, signed by Snyder and Capullo. Not at the same time, actually, because I got it, weirdly enough, I got it signed by Greg Capullo like years ago, or I can't remember which order it was in. I think I got it signed by Greg Capullo first and then by Scott Snyder or something like that. So one of them has a signature that's from like 2019 and the other one has a signature from like 2024. It's years in the making, but that's pretty cool.
Hey, whatever works, man.
Yeah.
If you think that I'm not taking this Witches with me if Jock's ever at a con, you're crazy.
Yeah, no, I think the Greg Capullo is, maybe that was later. I can't even remember. And then the Scott Snyder one is from 2021. It's pretty funny. So, and I love this issue. So that was a really special one to me. I got to put it back on the wall at some point.
All right. Well,
that was a fun little tangent.
It was, but man, we need to do tangents like that more often. Well, we could do whole episodes talking about shit.
I mean, I could show off my comic collection some more. I'd love to.
Oh yeah, actually, oh man, see, that's what that's exactly what I was talking about with Brandon's library.
Oh man,
we could
today if you want. I don't know if you have free time.
Pull one off.
Yeah, got like an hour.
Yeah, we could do that. Let's do that. Let's stretch this out real quick. If you wouldn't mind kicking off the summary for New Titans.
Oh yeah, no,
I'll be right back.
Sure.
Alrighty.
So this is Titans number 34, written by Tate Bromble, with art by Sami Basri, colors by Adriano Lucas, letters by Tom Napolitano, and another lovely cover from Torrin Clark. This sees the arrival of the new Titans that burst through the tower in the previous issue. And as a reminder, these Titans are John Kent, Yara Flor, aka Wonder Girl, Red Devil, aka Eddie Bloomberg, formerly Kid Devil, now roided out Red Devil, looking very much like good old Danny, Blue Devil, after he got his power up and started lifting weights like crazy during the Shadow Pack days. And my personal favorite, and still over the moon about this, Batgirl, aka Stephanie Brown, who are there to try to convince the Titans that their illusion, or that their reality, is nothing but an illusion, and that they need to find a way to at least break free of it all. That's when Raven and Beast Boy start to scream in pain. The other Titans go out to try and protect them. But unfortunately, it looks like they're just out for the count. So the Titans are continuing, the new Titans, that is, are trying to continue to show them that this is nothing but an illusion. However, Cyborg is not having any of it and is the first to lash out, and the rest of the Titans join suit, with Dick being the only one who's reluctant. So they have a big old Titans brawl, while Steph and Dick have a momentary powwow where Steph is really trying the fact that this has all been an illusion. They continue to fight, but unfortunately, it's just kind of getting crazier and crazier and more out of control, despite the fact that clearly something is amiss here. And that's when who should show up but Victor Stone. But wait a minute, if Vic's here, who the hell is that cyborg that we've been fighting for the past, however minutes? And that's when that cyborg reveals that he is truly a cyborg, or at this point, a full cyborg, or just a robot, I guess, in that case. And then blasts off, or I'm sorry, not blasts off, but is taken down by John Kent. giving the real Victor Stone the chance to explain just what the hell happened. Because Dick's first question is, oh God, this isn't another Technus situation. And I was like, oh my God, someone actually mentioned Technus in the year of our Lord 2026. Like the I don't want to say iconic, but certainly memorable to me 3-issue miniseries, JLA Titans: The Technus Imperative, which I'm hoping by them shouting that out, they're going to do a print any day now. You know, it's coming, I hope, because it would be great to have a much more upscaled version than the crappy floppies I have. But anyway, Vic explains that after the events of DCKO, a lot of the heroes were infected with something they're calling alpha energy, and that alpha energy somehow connected possibly with his mother box, ultimately causing the two of them to split apart while enhancing those separate parts. So the human part of Victor became fully human, and the cyborg part of Victor became fully Borg, if you will. But that Borg component of cyborg couldn't really understand what was happening, and out of fear decided to kidnap the Titans that were within closest proximity, and then eventually will start to collect the rest of the Titans, which is why it collected Dick and Corey and Tara for reasons that they're still trying to work out. There's a little bit of a moment of regret that Dick has, knowing that if Corey and him were real, the moment that they shared would have been real and not an illusion. So I'm sure that'll be unpacked later. Cyborg, however, or Vic, reveals that he has a plan. But before he can give full details, the full Borg shows up. We're just going to call him the full Borg from now on, to take out the Titans, except he's up against the new
Robo Borg.
Except he's hopefully, well, at least by Victor's own admission, his plan was to have this new Borg take out or go up against the new Titans that he's assembled. One's names that he's pulled from Titans files, and ones that he's recognized have a lot of potential and talent, with apparently Steph leading the charge, which I'm like, fuck yes. Steph not only gets to lead a team, but the Titans no less, which feels like such a no-brainer, and I really hope it gives her a chance to shine. So they're all in their battle with the full Borg, but unfortunately, much like Amazo, he, with the assistance of the alpha energy, is able to adapt to their powers very quickly, and so ultimately is able to take down the rest of the Titans, at least all of them except for Tara, who I guess has a sort of realization that despite her own complicated history with the Titans and the fact that she really just kind of wanted to treat it like a job, the job, or the gig, as she puts it, is not over, and there's clearly something that continues to keep her there. So she lashes out against the Borg, but the Borg kind of falters for a moment while he's attempting to correct Tara's poor rhetoric, and that's when we reveal that something has interrupted his interface or whatever, and we get the reveal of our last and newest Titans, Ava, who introduces herself to Tara, and Tara promptly responds, "What the fuck?" So that's where our issue ends. I've seen some theories speculating, and I don't know if this is entirely true, that Ava is not the daughter, but I guess maybe a recreation of Tomorrow Woman from Grant Morrison's JLA, which
they do call her the Woman of Tomorrow.
Yeah, or Daughter of Tomorrow.
Or Daughter of Tomorrow.
Yeah, so there's definitely some possible links to that, and of course similar color scheme to Tomorrow, although with the lighter shade of green. So I don't know, we'll see. I like that theory. I think that's interesting, but obviously we'll get more detail hopefully in the next issue. This new run of Titans continues to really kind of get me interested. Like, the last issue felt more like a commentary, but definitely was setting up some interesting mysteries. This one really kind of is starting to introduce us to the new dynamics of the new Titans, and I am all for it. I have been adamant about the fact that the Titans needed a major shakeup, and that they really needed some new blood to kind of just keep the engine going. So with this having a mostly new roster, and with the upcoming Teen Titans having a mostly new roster, I'm really hoping that they can just like invest in that heavily and really just build up that team and get people attached. So this feels like it'll be kind of a transition arc, moving from the older Titans lineup into the new Titans lineup. And then hopefully once that's happened, we can really lean into the new lineup and just kind of let them do their own thing. That's what I hope. And I think they've positioned themselves for it really nicely. It is a fresh brand of characters. Pretty much all of them have never been Titans with the exception of Red Devil. So I think that's great. Steph leading the charge obviously makes me very happy as a lifetime lover of Stephanie Brown. And it's just a lot of potential here. So it's really, I'm really hoping that the book will live up to that potential as it continues. So for now, I'll give this an 8.25 out of 10. Still very good, but very much a let's see how this continues to develop kind of story.
Yeah. So as excited as you were about mentioning Technus, I feel like I felt a little robbed that they didn't mention Grid. But
I mean, well, that's because that's not really Technus.
I mean, it's
was
evil.
a story. Well, yeah, well, that's a bit more of a relevant reference because the premise of Technus was Cyborg had to embrace this Technus persona and had basically lost his human persona except for the one command, which was to find out and seek the Titans. So that first issue and the whole premise is literally the Technus drones going around and collecting all of the Titans finals and storing them on the moon. Taken hostage at the time. So that's why Dick is like, no, we're not doing this again. Like, you're not kidnapping Titans again, are you? Whereas Grid was just like, that was just an infection from Earth 3. So the story is a little bit more relevant. That's why they probably wouldn't have mentioned that. Also, I'm not even sure if that happened anymore.
Oh, yeah. You hear that, Grid? They might have just dumped you.
Yeah. But I would highly recommend people check out JLA Technus Imperative. It is a little dense at times, but it is a heartwarming read.
It's a good read. It's not just heartwarming. It's a good read.
Well, it is a love letter to the Titans by people who love the Titans, and it's very apparent.
Yeah. So I enjoyed this. I still think that there's things in there that are a little odd. We definitely don't have all of the details going on. The idea is still really good. I wish it was I wish it wasn't Tara giving the narration for some reason. I don't know why that's like bothering me at all, but I do wish it was somebody other than Tara that was giving it. It's cool. This is all tied to Darkseid. It's cool that it's kind of remedying the problem all of us have with the Titans for so long. But I can't tell whether or not we're going to actually see a lineup change at the end of this.
Yeah, I mean, aside from some of the older Titans stepping away, I think this is our core roster. These 5 Titans. So Steph,
these you're sure that these are going to be you're thinking that these are going to be our Titans going forward?
Yeah, I mean, all solicitations seem to indicate that the lineup is going to primarily consist of Steph, Yara, John, Eddie, and Ava, the new character.
Cool, man. I love all of those characters. Red Devil was never like a huge thing for me. Cool character, but the rest of them, like, I'm a big fan of, and I've always wanted them. I was disappointed about the new Justice League, how that never happened. So I mean, I guess we've got it here, and I will definitely be reading it, man. It's good. There's some things that feel a little bit off, but it looks fantastic. The story's interesting. I just wish I knew a little bit more. I gave it an 8 out of 10.
Nice.
Mind controlling coffee. Trying to figure out how that worked. Did Robo Cyborg like make the coffee maker and it like put nanites into the coffee or something?
I think that's the implication, or there were chemicals in the coffee that made them more susceptible to, manipulation, mental manipulation.
All right. I guess that is it, isn't it?
That's it. That's all the books we have for the week.
That is all the books we have for the week. So now it's time for our top 3 and favorite moment. And mine was pretty easy. The scores did the work for me. Third place goes to New Titans. Second place goes Deathstroke. Deathstroke finally beats the Titans. But Nightstring. That's his alter ego. It's in nothing but. Nightwing beats Deathstroke for first place. And honestly, for my favorite moment, there were kind of some slim pickings for me anyway. Like the stories overall I really enjoyed, but there weren't too many like huge standout moments for me that were unique in any case. I guess I'm just gonna have to pick Harley Cullen, the vehicle, the Bat Nasty.
That works.
And for you, Brandon?
Mine also were pretty easy to pick. I had New Titans at 3, Absolute Batman number 19 at 2, and Nightwing 137 at 1. With honestly my favorite moments going to New Titans number 34, mostly just because I've always wanted to see substantial interaction between Nightwing and Steph. I feel like they had so much in common, and it's so weird that that's a dynamic that's never really played out, mostly because Steph was associated with Tim, and they were kind of doing their own thing, when they were interacting in Robin. So there wasn't really a lot of room for interaction. But I always felt like that would be such a good pairing. So seeing them kind of talk, even if they're trying to unpack the situation, was great. But there's a line from Steph that made me laugh, where she says, good, smartest, weird thing you've done all year. And then Nightwing goes, hey, and his reaction is just so like, what the hell, Steph? Like, I can't believe you said that. So yeah, so many great moments. Honestly, that whole like top panel on that page, that double page spread of them just kind of interacting, and there's a moment where they're back to back. Super cool. And visually, they look great together. The blue and purple really goes well. So I'm looking forward to that in subsequent issues. I want to see them have more interaction for if Nightwing is going to continue to stay in the book.
Agreed. All right, now before we move on to the librarian's corner, let's talk about our favorite cover. Did you pick one?
I did not.
You have one on
but yeah, this one very easily goes to Nightwing for me. That is just such an evocative cover. It feels like a movie poster. It's just so well executed, so clean, just so visually engaging. I love it.
It definitely does look like a movie poster. I couldn't figure out which one I liked more, so I'm going to choose the other one just because you went with Nightwing. So I'll pick my favorite to be Titans this week. All right, and that is the show that we usually do. Now we're going to talk about Brandon's library.
I don't really know how to kick this off. I said I'm game, but yeah, I don't really know. How would we? What
Well,
would you recommend?
what would I recommend? Well, you want to show off your library a little bit, and you've shown off, your yeah, then that was my fault. But you've shown off your Titans collection. What would you say your outside of the Titans, what would you say your top three most treasured possessions were?
Ooh, that is a great question. Man. Well, there are a few. Of course, there are. There are ones that are valuable, and when I say valuable, I mean they have a lot of value to me personally because they've just like they're ones that I was either amazed to find, or I really fell in love with, or just hard to find. Like it's very special to me for a few reasons. And then there are ones that maybe have a little bit more of like a monetary value, if you will. I'm trying to think like what's the thing that's nearest in reach that I can grab. So this one is not a DC book, but is also one I've had for many years, and is let me just grab it off the wall. Some of these I now have on the wall just because I have them in different forms, so I don't really need to, I don't really need to kind of pull out the floppies and read them. I have trades, I can do that. But this one really takes me back. This is Daredevil 181, a cover that speaks for itself, iconic issue, Death of Elektra, and as you can see, 13-year-old Brandon was not very careful with his books, so there's some tears. But I still love this issue, and this is one of those ones that I will never ever fucking sell ever. There's probably Cheeto stains and all kinds of shit in here. I've read it so many times. I practically know it by heart, right down to the moment where Elektra is crawling on the doorstep of Matt's apartment, and just that whole iconic sequence just lives in my mind forever. So this is one that is very special to me. I don't know that it's worth a lot. I mean, the Miller Daredevil stuff, I feel like it's kind of depreciated. Like there was a point where it was a little bit pricier to buy, and then for some reason, it just hasn't been that expensive. Like I've seen some of these issues in dollar bins, which is kind of crazy to me. But this is one I got years ago. This actually, oh man, this one is also doubly special because if I remember correctly, I got this issue at the first ever convention I went to. This would have been, oh my God, I'm really starting to sound old, but this would have been Stan Lee's Kamikaze, not LA Comic Con, not LA Kamikaze, Stan Lee's Kamikaze. Does anyone remember POW Entertainment when they were still on that show?
I do remember POW Entertainment.
Yeah, and
what an ordeal, by the way.
Yeah, I think this might have been the second ever Stan Lee's Kamikaze, but it was the first convention I ever went to. I went with my mom. I was like 11. I met Stan Lee at that show. That's another one I'll show. It's very special to me. But this was one of the ones I got because I love Daredevil, and I was really into Daredevil and Spider-Man and Fantastic Four. Like those were my three. Didn't get into X-Men too much, but this one meant a lot to me. And honestly, I should not have been reading this. Like I have this one and then another one on my wall, which I can show is the iconic No More Mr. Nice Guy cover with Daredevil doing kind of the Dirty Harry thing. And both of these issues are not appropriate for kids at all. So I don't know. I clearly did not have any oversight in this. But yeah, when you ask about like issues that are really special to me, this is one of them. And then there's another, which I have to make sure, I got to see where it is because I just can't remember if it's in my long boxes or in one of my short boxes, but let me check. And this one you'll definitely recognize, I hope. There it is. There it is. So again, this is another one that like it's not worth a lot, but in terms of sentimental value, it's everything to me, and I could never sell it. And honestly, it should be on that wall for how much it means to me. But this one is another one I got years ago, and I've read this issue so many times, and I kind of consider it my introduction to the Batman corner of the DC universe, not counting the animated series and the 2004 WB show. But this is Batman 442.
Oh,
Which
what
is
an
the
issue!
I mean, I didn't even realize the value. Well, value. I didn't realize the importance it had at the time. I was just reading it as a casual fan, and this is part 5. So naturally, I was very lost in some parts of it, but I really loved it because I loved the idea of some kid just becoming Robin and saving the day and being the hero, and it just seems so cool. And so I knew Nightwing
100%,
was, I knew
dude.
Batman was, but I wasn't as familiar with Tim Drake at the time. So I was just kind of literally going into like just picking up this issue from ye old Dr. Comics and Mr. Games, shout out Piedmont, California. Not really having full context for the story, but just appreciating the message of it. So this issue, this cover means everything to me. And like honestly was kind of emotional seeing them do a tribute to this cover in 2017 during the James Tynion Detective Comics, because I was like, oh my god, like that's the cover, that's 442. Like I had to go and dig it out and be like, oh my god, I know this one because this is the one that kind of started it all for me. So this is one that again I would never sell, and I will take with me to my grave just because it means so much to me. And it's a great issue, and really
not only does it have one of the most iconic Batman non-Batman covers there are. Hell, it might be the most iconic Batman non-Batman cover there is.
Could be, yeah.
But it's a very important story. It's our baby Tim Drake.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is the one that kind of started it all. And there's actually this and issue 466, which I also have somewhere in there. Those two are very interlinked for me because I bought them at the same time, right? I was my interest was very simple. I liked Robin. If Robin was on the cover, I was going to buy it. So I got it. Or even if he was in like the corner box, like there's Robin in the corner box, I assume he's in the issue, I'm going to buy it. So it was a no-brainer. But getting this, which is an introduction to Tim Drake, and then getting issue 466, where we get to see Tim take down this teenage sniper and have a real heart-to-heart moment with him. Those two are very linked in my mind. And even though they're like 2 years apart in terms of publishing schedule, I always link them together because those are kind of my first introduction to Tim Drake as Robin. So when I say like I had a deep history with the character, I really mean it, because this was the beginning.
One that got it all. Yeah,
very much so,
man. But that I was going to finish what I was saying off there with not only is it important, not only is it Tim Drake becoming Robin, not only does it have that iconic fucking cover, but that whole 5-part series is just written so fucking well.
I love it. And there was a time where I was rereading that pretty regularly because before I upgraded to the trade, I actually had all of A Lonely Place of Dying in floppies, and it was kind of a full circle moment because it's like, oh my god, I have the full context of the story now. Like it's not just me rereading 442 and not knowing what happened in earlier issues. It's like, oh, Batman fights KG Beast and leaves him for dead, and you get a little bit more context. And also, I understood a little bit more at that point about Jason Todd had died. It was a dark moment in his life, and there was so much going on in his head that it really was affecting his performance, and the necessity of Batman having a partner was made very apparent. But it was great to have the rest of the series to finally see it. And for people who aren't familiar, this series, this crossover ties in with the New Titans, which funnily enough, we just talked about. And at that time, Nightwing, obviously very prominent on the Titans, and the book had also just gone through a bit of a title relaunch. But this was sort of meant to reintroduce Robin, but also kind of give it a bit more of grace in the post-crisis period, where Dick is really front and center in helping Tim become the next Robin.
Yes.
So
yes,
I love that.
Far more so than he was with Jason.
Yeah, well, there's a little bit that kind of can get screwy too. That's why I say post-crisis, because pre-crisis it very much was a handoff. I actually have that one on the wall, issue 3. What is that? 360 something. Where basically Dick is like, "Hey, you're gonna be Robin now. I'm even gonna give you my old costume," which I'm sure that thing smelled like shit. But that was much more of a like formal, peaceful send off. Then crisis happens, and they sort of rewrite it as Dick gets fired, then joins the Titans, and then a couple months later, Bruce has a new Robin. So that's why I kind of have to mention that, like in the post-crisis continuity, this was Nightwing being a little bit more hands-on and graceful about the transition, which is nice.
Oh yeah.
Oh, Rob's dealing with the screaming baby.
Rob is dealing with the screaming baby at lunchtime. Fun times.
Yeah, there's so many issues like that are just very special to me, and they always will be. Some with, like I said, very sentimental, personal value, and then some that are, kind of just very cool when I get to flex a little bit.
But I mean, isn't that why we all collect?
Yeah. I mean, well, I'd say 80% of it is 90% of it is for me. The other 10% is on the chance that I get to brag in front of other people, which is not a lot of people.
Not a lot of people, but it's a niche audience, and it goes far in that audience.
This is true.
Oops, cancel. Well, we definitely need to be able to, I think, and if we had anybody listening live, which I'm pretty sure we don't. Actually, we've got one person
talking to the void.
Yeah, one person watching on Twitch. But if anybody would have any ideas for shows or comic series, little pieces of comic history that mean a lot to us to go over, that would be pretty cool. I think it would be fun to go back and reread storylines that, me, I'll go back and pick up shit like the entire Nightfall arc or like all of No Man's Land or everything Blackest Night, but going back and reading smaller arcs that are just as fantastic, like A Lonely Place of Dying.
Yeah.
I feel like that's something that we should do maybe once a month.
That would be fun. And, if the time permits, I think that would be a good one. If we could maybe clear a day and just try and make it happen.
Absolutely, man. And the good thing is that you've got so many comics that we can physically show a majority of them. Hell, we could actually pull any of them directly from your library, and then I'll try and grab some up that will, and I can I'd be able to read those, and then we can talk about it, and you can show off and flex the shit you've got.
I don't want to make a so bold a claim as to say that I have everything that we might read, but it's definitely a lot. Yeah, it's definitely a lot.
Well, it is the librarian's corner. As you can see, his library is even in a corner.
Literally, yeah, it's filling everywhere in this apartment. So trust me when I say it's like it is literally most of what I own, or a huge chunk, at least a huge chunk.
I'd be happy.
That's a great question, though. Like I said, there are so many that are very special to me, and I love just getting to talk about the memories surrounding them too, because that's also really important to me. Is like, the story obviously is good, and well, most of them, and those are the ones that I remember, but the context around it is important too. Like, where was I when I was reading this? What kind of state was I in? That's why the
What did
Judas
it do for
Contract
me?
also is another one that's very special to me, because like it's a phenomenal story and it always will be. But my first time reading it is attached to a very funny memory, and like that will always stick with me.
See, and I have I'm the complete opposite of things. I'd been reading, comic strips and things like that forever. But as I've told you, the very first comic book that I ever picked up was the Roy Harper Junkie issue.
Yes, No Birds Don't Fly.
And it was right after it had become public knowledge. By public knowledge, like I found out and other members of my family found out that my sister was addicted to crack. And it just, that connection, that will forever, and I mean forever, be the comic. You mentioned, like, if I was ever to have like one comic, it's not, like the most valuable. I'm not looking for 27. I would love that comic book, because that comic book showed me in the kind of world that I was living in, which was very religious and swept under the rug, and hush hush and children don't talk kind of situation. And that it showed me what it broke through most of the bullshit of what it was that I was being raised in, and exposed me to what the as fucked up as it is, books with superheroes in them exposed me to what the actual real world was like. And it in a world where no one was willing to talk to me about what drug addiction or anything like that was, just knowing that my sister's life was ruined by it, and she had stolen our car and the whole nine, it showed it talked to me about it. It didn't keep shit hidden from me. And that kicked off my love affair of comics, and why I think perhaps that era, it's why I believe so firmly in a big event having lasting events. I think when the comics start and finish at the exact same fucking spot, I don't think that it was really worth it. Where I fell in love with comics was in a period of time where you got beginning, middle, end, and at that end there was something that would change. There was a point in the fucking story. And but yeah, for sure.
It's very interesting
that would
how that kind of shaped your perspective on just the lasting impacts in comics, because it's very true. Like, Roy's struggles with addiction is something that has never gone away. That is always a part of his character, and it is a very lasting thing. And sometimes you have story arcs that just kind of come and go and are never really mentioned in the future, but that's one that's always been prominent.
Definitely. It's what kicked it off. And if I had it, man, it would be right there. Right behind me. Impressed. I wouldn't even give a shit if it was a grade 3.
Well, keep that in mind. It's actually, I don't think it's as hard to find as you might think, but I'll be on the radar, see if I can't scrounge one up for you.
That was I haven't had my hands on it since I was a kid. And that flood took it. I say kid. That's how I know I'm fucking old, Brandon. I was 18 or 19 when the flood hit. Oh man. But yeah, anyway, we should definitely do that. we need to. Well, I wish I knew what your entire inventory was, but I guess you
Oh
could share
man,
your CLZ profile.
I'm still trying to catalog everything. It's like this is a project that is going to take a lot longer than it's not like I've been doing it every day, because if I had, I probably would have finished by now. But yeah, this is one of those things where like I just got to clear 2 whole days and just catalog everything top to bottom. So I don't even think maybe I've hit like 30% of my collection, but there's still a lot outstanding. But I've tried to get as much as I can in the time that I have. And at some point, it will be nice to have everything, because I don't even know how many there are. I don't even know what the number is. And then there are still some issues where like I'll dig it out of the unread pile and I'm like, I don't even remember when I got this. So, it'll be good to have a catalog of everything, just so I know. But yeah, no, I mean, it's definitely cool to have everything in one place for the first time in like forever. And it's fun going back and seeing like, oh, I remember that issue, and I remember reading that in high school, and this and that, and like that's the stuff that is super fun to me. Yeah, I could talk about this stuff for hours. You know that.
I do know that. I wish I had hours to hang out. What I want to do is I want to be able to put together that once a month show, and I just want it to be about books that mean something to you. You share whatever book that is ahead of time, or miniseries, A Lonely Place of Dying, or Hawk World, or whatever.
Yeah.
And me and Rob and whoever else might want to join could read those and join in on the discussion. As I want those to not just be little mini stories, but mini series, issues, and series that mean a lot to the librarian.
Well, it could be kind of a two-pronged thing. Like initially I thought it was just going to be like, oh, pull out an issue and talk about why it's valuable or what it means to you or something like that, and I could do that in 2 to 3 minutes, 5 minutes tops. I tend to ramble, so it'd probably be more like 5 minutes. But yeah, we could do that too. I just pull out an issue or a mini series and we read that. Oh my god! Well, see, I don't want to do that, because then it's really going to take forever. Because I started thinking about like what are all the mini series like I either read in chunks or I read in full that I still love and I have somewhere, and there's like so many. And oh man, I've been wanting to talk about Cry for Blood for forever. And oh my god, there's Batman Turning Points. I've always really wanted to talk about Secret Origin, and I could give a full spiel on Superman, the Legion of Superheroes, that Jeff Johns arc, and I could talk about Superman 400, which is a phenomenal single issue. And like, there's so many that I would want to do that just mean the world to me. But it would be hard to choose. I'm not gonna lie.
I maybe I'm asking a lot of you, but I would like those quick clips of that. What you had said. I would love that. And then when you can, once a month, we do the treasured finds, let's say that, and we all talk about one of the series that you've got. I'd really like it if you had it, so you could show us the physical issues, and Rob and I could read, if necessary, digital copies. We could track those down pretty easy.
Yeah, it should be.
Even Golden Age stuff is archived on the internet.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we could get our hands on all kinds of stuff, and we could talk about those.
And it doesn't necessarily have to be. Well, I would probably save this for the shorter show, but it'll be floppies, but it'll be trades too. Like there was this one. I was debating whether I should show this one, but I always kind of show this one off because it's like truly one of a kind, at least to me. Because it's just one of those, like, not only is it a cool thing that I own and I get to flex about, but it is a memory that means everything. And I actually have a picture of it too. But this is my original copy. I don't even think they do this series anymore, which is crazy. But this is my copy of the Marvel Masterworks. For people who remember Marvel Masterworks from like 2010, Volume 1 of the Fantastic Four. Like I said, there were like three mainstays for me when I was a wee lad. Spider-Man, Daredevil, and the Fantastic Four. What do they have in common? Not a lot, but for some reason, those were my go-tos. And I loved all three, but especially the Fantastic Four. That was like my axes. So this one was really special to me, and I like begged my mom to get me this copy at Barnes and Noble, and I got it. And as you can see, very well loved, very weathered with age, but one I treasured a lot. And held on to for a few years, actually. And then when we moved, it actually some water damage. Jesus, I really did not take care of this thing. But when we moved to LA, and I got to go to my first ever convention and got to briefly meet Stan Lee, I got to get this book signed. And at the time, like I kind of knew, but I just didn't really know how significant that was, I guess, in a comic sense. But to me, it was just like, I love this book, and I love the Fantastic Four, and I love Daredevil, and Stan Lee created them. So that's cool. Like when you're 10, you don't have a full scale of it, but now it's like, oh my God, that's amazing. So there's a picture of me that my mom loves to show of I'm standing in line and he's signing this book. And it's like one of my favorite memories of all time. So this is it. This is the OG one. I've had this, I think for like 13 years plus. And I will never, ever get rid of this. Like I will probably be buried with this. It's irreplaceable.
Well, obviously. Oh my God.
Yeah. So that's another one. Like I was debating. I was like, do I show that one off? I feel like I mentioned that one a lot, but it's just like, it's one of those memories I'll never forget. And it totally made my day. So.
And those are definitely the kind of things that I would like to talk about.
Exactly. Yeah. And there's a lot of them. You know, if you've built up a long collection and you've been in a lot of different places in your life, you collect a lot of stuff, obviously, but they have different memories attached to them. So that stuff is important, at least to me. And it's like, that's how I see it. So if I pull something off the shelf and it has that emotional value or that emotional connection, I read it and I enjoy the story, but I'm also sort of reliving where I was, you know, when I read it the first time, or I bought it for the first time. So that's the kind of thing I was thinking of, where it's like I can kind of go into it, but I don't want it to be like too, what's the word I'm thinking of, like self-aggrandizing or whatever.
See, I'm interested in it, and this is kind of a selfish reason. But I remember arcs like A Lonely Place of Dying, just because we've done that. Judas Contract, you know.
Yeah. I love telling the story of.
Try to think back on it with the memory failing. Like I can't think of these different. I would not have been able to, if you would have asked me what was the name of the arc where Tim Drake shows up and becomes Robin, I would have totally fucking blanked. But I mean, that's where I'm at. So revisiting all of these stories that I've been around for forever, you know, and then hearing, you know, that you know, hearing them from you would almost help me. Though a lot of my memories about many of the comics that I have read have gone away, it would be kind of cool to be able to relive those experiences through you.
That's very interesting. Yeah. I hope it'll bring you some joy and entertainment. I feel like I've mentioned it before. It's a story I love, but one of the ones I definitely want to bring up is I think it's New Teen Titans Annual number 3, which is the finale to Judas Contract. It's one of my favorite issues, but that's one of my favorite memories just because it makes me laugh, because I was supposed to be studying for a math test, pretty big one actually, following day. And I ordered that issue, like I bought that issue, and it got delivered that day, like the day before the math test. And I it's like I'd been stockpiling all the issues for the Judas contract just for like one big read, and I was waiting for that issue, and of course it would show up that day. So I I basically blew off all my studying that night, and just read the whole thing, like the whole storyline from issue 40 to that annual. And I stayed up till like 2 a.m. in the morning because I was like, I was so into it. And those issues are dense. They take a while to read, but I was so into it. I was like, I just have to get through all of this. And once I finished, I was like, yeah, I'm definitely going to fail that test tomorrow. And sure enough, I did. I mean, I don't think I completely tanked it, but I know I didn't do well. But I look back and I'm like, it was so worth it, because it's a funny memory, but I was having the time of my life, and it was a great read.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. Yes, I would. If you don't mind, and I mean, if Rob wants to be a part of this, I'd be more than happy to have him. I know his schedule is a little hectic, and this wouldn't even need to be on the schedule. I'd like it once a month if we could do that. I'm sure people would enjoy listening to that as well. But yeah, I would really like that. I think I would benefit from it. I think it would be fun to listen to and fun to talk about.
Yeah, no, I mean, I'll definitely yap about that.
Can you pull together some series that you'd like to talk about our next shot at this?
Sure. I mean, are you talking for the shorter ones or the longer ones?
Longer ones, where I'd be a part of it.
Yeah, no, I mean, and actually, to make it easier, like
the once a month
deal, and it doesn't have to be a whole arc. It could just be an issue,
so whatever you want, man.
Yeah, like let's say we do Daredevil 181, or something like that. Like that's an issue. That's a one and done issue. So, it'll be helpful to have some extra context around everything that was going on in Daredevil's world in that particular moment. But it's not like you have to read the whole run. You just read that issue and kind of relive it, and I don't know, BS about it, whatever you want to do.
That sounds like exactly what I was hoping for.
Yeah.
And for example, like I'm sure that Rob hasn't gone back and read that.
Yeah.
Because to my knowledge, he's not a big Daredevil fan.
No. I think what I'm going to do, the issue that I want you guys to read, that, yes, very special to me, is Detective Comics 742. You can look it up. It is the start of Greg Rucka's run on Detective Comics. I think it's 2000. That is an issue I've read endlessly. That run in particular is so important to me and so fundamental. But it's like, also it would be great for you too, because it's essentially a coda to No Man's Land. I don't want to spoil it too much, but it really kind of goes into how Jim Gordon copes with the death of Sarah Essen after Joker kills her during No Man's Land. So I think that's probably the one I would start you off with, now that I'm thinking about it. Like, what's a good one? And it's a clean starting point, so it doesn't really require a ton of context outside of No Man's Land and the fact that Jim Gordon's wife was killed. But I love that issue, and I'll probably have you do another issue, probably be 750 from that same run. But yeah, there's
all right. Well, I tell you what, dude, you pick a date and well, it'll be a date.
Yeah, there you go. You just got to get Rob on board.
Again, if his schedule will permit.
Yeah, no, that's the key. But
yeah, that's the key for both of you guys.
Yeah, seriously.
This is a very this is our triad relationship has a lot of give and take.
Yeah, it's that's very much try to be flexible around people's schedules.
Yes, sir. All right, Brandon. I am gonna have to hop off of here because there's a different room in this house that is calling my name loudly.
Also, we're still live.
Oh yeah, absolutely. That's why I'm still talking like this.
Yeah.
But we are live, and we're gonna have to get out of here for that. I do want to do this. I'm sure listeners out there are going to want to hear about it. So let's have you pick a date, and we will do Detective 742. Hell, we could probably do 742 and 750 on the same show.
Maybe, but there's definitely a little more context that you need for 750. So I figure 742 is just that's a solid Jim Gordon Batman story, and if you don't love that issue, like I don't think we can be friends anymore. Or if you hate it, you hate it. You know, I mean,
I am
yeah.
more than sure that I've read that before, and I'm more than sure that I'm going to like it.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that fucking book. 750.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
This is like for me. This is like my how people feel about what issue of Batman is that, like 232, the fight with Ra's al Ghul in the desert. Like,
yeah,
this is like my how people love that issue is how I feel towards 750. I've probably read 750 more than I've read 742 because I just everything about how that sort of gang story coalesces with the confrontation between Bruce and Ra's, and really the ending with I don't want to spoil it, but there's just so much in there to love, and it's like the perfect way to capstone that arc. And I love Rucka's voice for Batman so much. One of these days, I'll have to go into my not quite rant, but whole diatribe about Death and the Maidens, because that was one that I read after I'd already finished this run, and I expected it to be great, and it wasn't really, and it's still good, but like it's kind of disappointing, and that was complicated to deal with. But that's another one I'd love to revisit because it's been a while. So yeah, there's so much I can pull from.
Absolutely. And it sounds like Detective Comics 742 will be the kickoff, and we'll figure out what happens after there, mostly by you calling the shots, and you'll let us know. But again, that other room. So we're going to have to get out of here. I definitely need to visit the little boy's room. So that is the show. Thank you, everybody, for watching. We appreciate it. We're getting out of here, so you'll have to as well. Be careful out there. And remember, in the Geek Matrix, everybody has hope. In the Geek Matrix, you are not alone.
See ya.